Oh, my friends, I have a couple of tips for those who are beginning their journey or at the beginning of their journey. And I'm going to do this in two segments. So the first thing is believing that you can do this. That is the paramount thing. This is a conversation I have so often in my work of coaching where people do not believe there is this doubt of, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? You can do this. If you are rewiring your brain, you can do this. You are always able to do this. One of the easiest ways your limbic system can protect you from change that it believes is a threat is to stop you from doing the work. So the believing that you can't is just a simple way for it to say, oh, well, if you can't, there's no point in trying. So we might as well just give up now, and that's how it protects you from change. So you always can. That's something where you make a decision and believing in yourself that you can, and come back to it whenever you get tripped up, because it happens. We all kind of like reach a point where we're like, oh God, maybe I can't do this. It's so hard. But you can come back to that choice and say, no, I can. I know I can. So that's going to be like I always think of like, the ice picks that you put on the bottom of your shoes, or like climbing up something where you need something sharp to kind of like get grip on it. And that belief that you can is going to get you traction so that you can actually use your tools and move forward and not just sit in a freeze response or avoid actually rewiring and changing. So believe that you can, and you can. And even if your limbic system tells you you can't after you made that decision, just circle around and come back to it. This is the other biggest one that I see so often, is recognizing and accepting that no one else can make your decisions for you or do the work for you. That freedom is the result of empowerment, which means that you own that this is your life. Because I work with a lot of people where there's so many different possibilities of what they could do in their situation. And in the process of helping them, it's, the biggest thing that comes up is that the person whose life it is, they are the only one who can truly know what the right decision is for themselves, and they're the ones living it. So you are the one with all the power. It's your life. It's your journey. You are the one. You have a knowing inside of you. And in this vein, one of the things that stops people the most is that searching for another solution pop. But the other thing that happens with that is that we often can't carry out the solution because our brain is too overwhelmed. So even if you have some other solutions you want to try for your symptoms or your situation, you may find that you can't take them far enough to actually see if it would even work, because you can't be consistent because you feel too overwhelmed. So I do encourage you again to focus on just brain rewiring and have that your main focus for 6 to 12 months. And really do the work, and not, do a couple rounds a day or do a little bit of a program, but only like 10% of that program, and then say you're doing it and ask why you're not getting results. If you do 10% of the program, you're not going to get 100% of the results. So that's the biggest thing that was realized, that no matter what happens, you're going to have to make a decision and follow through with it. And brain rewiring will help to give you the function that you need to be able to follow through with anything long enough for it to actually work and stick. So it's a good place to start. The last thing I want to talk about for today is that because of the nature of brain function, and I'll explain what I mean by this, recovery will always be an educated leap of faith. There's no amount of information we can give an activated limbic system that's going to make it feel safe. It needs dose chemistry, it needs relaxation chemistry in order to turn that stress switch off, because that's why we have that chronic feeling of desperation and unsafety. And the constant need for more information is the brain trying to find a false sense of security and knowing things. But there's no amount of knowledge that's going to make you safe in the world. And hiding our heads in articles about how the brain and body work is not going to make you better. It's never going to make you better. So part of this, because we need to shift the brain state, is that we have to take in enough information. And again, you're the person who's going to know what the right amount of information is for you. So trust yourself in terms of you'll know, because if you're doing too much researching or even too much listening to recovery stories and things like that, and just continuing to search neuroplasticity even and get more information and more stuff, It'll be an obsessive compulsive feeling when it's a pop versus a calm sense of like, oh, I really should spend some time looking at the science today so I can remind myself of what I'm doing. But that the leap of faith comes from, okay, now I have the information about how to change my brain state. Now I need to put that into action and change my brain state. And that's where that leap is. And that doesn't go away. That's going to be there. So I encourage you, instead of trying to find a way to not have to cross that river or make that leap, to just get good at it, because you're going to make that leap a lot of times in your journey. And the more comfortable you get making that leap of faith, the easier it is to do it. And it becomes like something that doesn't feel like a big deal later on. So that is what I've got for you guys today in terms of for beginners, because the beginning of recovery is all just about getting traction going and making sure we're keeping ourselves accountable to the science of what's actually going on in your brain. So all my love to you, my friends, and I will have the last bit for you pretty soon. All right, sending love.